Welcome, everyone, to a special Wednesday night edition of the Signals from Mars live stream. And we welcome back to the show the person that's been on the show the most over the years, Mr. Erik Kluiber.
Hey,
How
what's
are
up,
you doing,
Victor? What's up, buddy? Doing great, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you reached out that you wanted to talk about the new Void Vator, I said, of course. You know, you've always been great to the show, regardless, what you've had going on. And it's always fun to have you back. So,
Yeah, it's great to be here, man. And it's like every year or two, stop by and say hi.
yeah,
Always something new
absolutely.
going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So you contacted me because you guys are dropping a new album next month. You sent me two singles,
Yeah.
which are by far, and this seems to be the common thing every time you send me something. It's heavier than the last thing you guys have done. So it's definitely got a lot of chugging riffs to both songs. And I was thrilled to receive them. I'm always happy to have you send your songs my way. Tell us a little bit about the new album, when it drops, and what the name is.
All right, man. Let me fix my hair. Okay, so we've got a new record. I play in Void Vator. We are based in Los Angeles, California. Our new album is called Great Fear Rising, and it's coming out April 23rd.
Okay.
So just over a month here, just under a month, right? Just under a month will be coming out on Ripple Music. And that is a great new heavy metal label, stoner rock label from the Bay Area. Check them out if you're not familiar with them. And they're one of the few labels out supporting new contemporary music.
Cool. Yeah, and they just recently signed up Blasco, if I'm not mistaken, to do A&R.
Yeah, Blasco's a part of their team now. And I haven't personally met him through the Ripple family, but maybe one day we will here. I think this summer we're going to be going out on a tour. We just talked to our booking agent about looking into doing some shows through the Southwest and a potential Ripple Music showcase. So that's all still in the plans, but it looks like it might happen.
Very cool. Yeah, and obviously people know him for his work with Ozzy, but obviously he's got his own management company and he's done a lot of stuff behind the scenes to help promote, newer bands and new music, which is extremely important with keeping, this style of music alive.
Well, it is having people behind the scenes that are interested in new music is incredibly important, and it always has. And I think the fact that there's kind of a desert of opportunity, and I say that like it's very, there's few and far between as far as opportunities go, and having some people interested in pushing new music, discovering new music is it's a blessing to have someone on the team. So same thing with Todd from Ripple and Todd Severn, the owner of Ripple Music, and everyone that works for him. Being interested in new music and pushing it is very rare now.
Right. And I mean, it's one of the reasons why I like doing a new releases post every Friday. I try to bring attention to, new bands that are putting out music, even old bands that are doing new things. It's important to keep all this, like I said, all this alive. And one of the most annoying things that I hear all the time is there's no good new music. Now, the problem is that a lot of people don't want to search it out. There's always great new music to be found. It's just not there like it was back in the day with the magazines and with maybe.
Well, that's the push that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And people don't have the time to go to the library, if you will, and research on their own. I mean, there has to be an element of fun to it. If you ride a roller coaster, you don't want to have to build the roller coaster yourself, right? You want to go to an amusement park. They got some cool roller coasters. You pay $50 and you go around and around a couple times.
Right.
So having some people that are interested in pushing it, and you yourself that are you're also interested, and it's fun. Let's not forget that. It's fun to discover and tell people about something that you think is really cool that they don't know about.
Right.
And so I appreciate what you do, man.
Yeah, and I'm more than happy to help spread the word of Void Vator by far. I started seeing videos a few months back with Lucas soloing and doing different things, and obviously he's just a monster on the guitar. And
Yeah, great player, huh?
yeah, he's an awesome
Keep you on
player.
your toes, get you inspired for sure. Yeah, check out his channel on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
He's always ripping on the guitar, man.
Yeah. How has he helped you become a better player?
Oh, just being around a player like Lucas, his energy, his playing as well. It's almost like getting a guitar lesson every day. I probably owe that guy thousands just by that alone. And that's a part, I teach guitar as well, and a lot of it is being in the presence of someone who can really do it. It's a lot of Jedi skills. And it's a lot more than just putting your fingers in the right spot.
Right.
It does get into a spiritual extension of expression. And to see someone be very calm and relaxed and enjoy it can help ease any sort of anxiety or frustration that you might experience that can derail your creativity and your train of thought. So that's where the ninja skills come in. So yeah, being in a band with Lucas is, everyone in the band is fantastic. But you specifically asked about Lucas. It's great for guitar playing, man. It's very inspiring. It's helped me out tremendously.
Right. And obviously over the years, I mean, we've talked about all of the other bands that you've been in. What's the difference with being in this group with the other three gentlemen that are in this band with you, as opposed to some of the other bands that you've been in? Is there one thing that you can pinpoint and say Void Vator is the best because?
Yeah, sure. One of the biggest things is the chemistry has been right, but I'd like to delve in deeper than that because that's a real generic sort of answer. What does chemistry mean? And that finally, once we got Sam in the band, that's what really locked it in.
Okay.
Now, right now, we don't have a drummer because Herman had to leave the country. His visa expired, him and his wife, Jana Lee, and we've been continuing as primarily a three-piece. So I'm going to concentrate on the three of us right now. So getting along, and I was always in bands that had a lot of drama and issues, and I had accepted that as a way that things just are, always being dysfunctional, and that's not true. And that's helped us get through, well, just not have any issues to really cause issues. So we seem to respect each other's abilities, but not just musical abilities, but what people bring to the table outside the band, divvying up responsibilities. There's no problem with animosity, thinking someone's being lazy or not contributing or not pulling their weight. Which is how it should be, but is not always the case. And those things, a small issue can erupt into a larger issue. Everyone seems to have a cool head. And, well, but we have a lot in common, The guys in the band want to go out and do this. So that, like, going on a tour, I told everybody, like, the only way you can go out and get noticed is to start touring. And at a DIY level, and it's very small potatoes. And if you look at it a certain way, it might not make any sense. But you got to get out there, get your feet wet, get the rhythm, because it's always like you're improvising on the road. You're just embracing the experience. The whole experience is what it's about, not just the show in itself. And to appreciate that and enjoy that is really important. And at first, it started small and got bigger, and maybe it wouldn't have turned out well. Maybe, people like, this isn't for me. I don't enjoy doing this, but everyone enjoys doing these tours that we increased, like the length of the tours, the distance we traveled, the time off. Now you have to balance your life. And I mean, knock on wood, everything was successful.
Cool.
As far as we enjoyed it, we made fans. there was nothing terrible as far as it being a financial disaster that really crippled people in their own life because they had to make up for it and they couldn't hold their domestic life together. So the fact that the guys really love the road has been that's how we've proven ourselves. A lot of the bands out here in LA are still looking for a magic carpet ride, like a genie to come down from space and whisk them away in a UFO and get wined and dined and next, open for these legendary metal gods. And that's not reality.
Right.
And so that helped distinguish us. And the fact that you can go out and do that and prove yourselves, that means a lot. So the shows themselves, they're like, their individual triumphs and their individual tests, if you will.
Okay.
That's really important, man, because a lot of people won't do that. I mean, especially I want to say especially drummers. That's like an LA thing, and so many drummers like, yeah, I'll $100 a rehearsal and then X amount for the show, and if you want to take me on the road, here's all my demands and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay.
So with that type of attitude, you're going to end up in a cover band or a wedding band, or maybe you'll look out and get some sort of hired gun gig. And if that's what you're looking for, that's fantastic. But to find guys that really enjoy original music, creating something, promoting it, take pride in watching it grow from obscurity into something that starts to catch on, and continue to expand that every day. I think that's very rare because it's not overnight. And people do move out here in LA. I think I love Los Angeles. It's my favorite place I'm going to say in the world, but most of my travels have been North American exclusive. I love this place, but there is an attitude of this instant gratification that if you read the storybooks, that's fantastic, like Disney metal edge fantasy, but that's not reality. And I don't say that in a negative way. And that's like embracing the actual love of not just music, because that's too generic, the whole experience. To find guys that are into that, it is rare, and to have people that are cool personally and don't seem to have strange hangups or severe ego issues, severe control issues, like we write very well together. There's no resistance in trying out new ideas, which I think adds to the overall picture. But also at the same time, there's no resistance to playing your role. Right? I don't need my stamp on every single riff and every single arrangement. So going with the flow that is this individual band has been a dream, really. Similar senses of humor, like all these components. I mean, I don't think it's that unique as far, but like just being around good people who like to have fun and are just awesome. Yeah. That's how.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at a lot of the hired gun mentality. Just because you're the best player doesn't mean you're always the best fit for a band. And like you said, just being able to go out on the road and not have to deal with drama, not have to deal with things is probably more important than if someone can play, 200 beats per minute, double bass,
Sure. It definitely is. And let's be honest, we're not playing. Well, I mean, our music, this isn't Dream Theater. This isn't some super improv like jazz fusion rock band that's only the top players of Berkeley. I'm not degrading the music at all. You do, but that being said, everyone in the band's a good player, so that helps as well. So let's acknowledge that. But you're absolutely right. It's not. It was funny is you'll see a lot of the hired gun bands, but they end up playing like really entry level music on a professional level. You ever notice that? Like, this guy is the greatest drummer in the world, but he's playing really basic stuff, or any instrument. It happens all the time. So add good hard work ethic. I mean, we're not Boy Scouts. We're not like a total bunch of dork nerds, man. We have fun. You know, we go out and yeah, we party. We have fun. We work hard, play hard. I mean, it's the old American spirit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and people like, it doesn't take too much extra effort. There's just not some strange things that we have, unnatural things to work around. It's very natural.
Right. Yeah. What you guys are doing, really, I mean, if people have followed you, like you said, with Lucas and his channel and what you post online, it isn't anything out of the realm of what we've seen bands doing for decades. I mean, to an extent, you guys are probably, you know, obviously the sound of the band is a combination of what influenced you guys with a modern like sound to it. Like sonically it sounds modern, but probably what you guys are trying to portray is a lot closer to what, you know, people saw back in the 70s, back in these, you know, roadhouses, and back in like the old, like the circuit of all the biker bars and stuff like that. Just bands that wanted to go out and just rock and have fun. And again, it doesn't have to be 50 million notes. At the end of the day, as long as you're entertained, that's what's important.
Well, it does. Yeah, I'd like to go into that. It is organic and natural. Once again, those are really generic terms. Going out on the road does help shape the band and see what works and what doesn't work. And you take in playing with other bands and not studying them in a scholastic way, but it all seeps into your DNA. So just your life experiences do help you create new music and want to push you further. I was happy that the new record, we went more metal this time, which previously we had purposely tried not to do that.
Right.
And there was a little bit of a governor there. Like, no, let's not overcomplicate this. This is getting too progressive in this area. There's perhaps too many riffs. Let's keep it simple and really to the point. And we were not afraid to try some more complex arrangements. So, and then at the end of the day, you're writing music. You're just writing what's the coolest thing you can possibly write. And we start out with very basic demos, and they all contribute and add to them, and we tweak and polish them over time. And then, and so like half of us like introducing ideas to each other, learning them, playing them together, someone else coming out with other additional pieces to make it better, and having once again that openness to listen to other people and try out their ideas is incredibly important, and it worked well. So we did work very hard on this record. I think much harder than any of our other music, and it's more complex. So I don't want to try and portray it as like some just simple joke music that we just shit out. That's not the case at all. It worked really, really hard, and I think it shows. So what about it? We happen to all love rock and metal music, and we're a 3-generation band. I'm the oldest, Lucas in the middle, and Sam being the youngest. And everyone does have different, like a group, like went to high school at different times and has different ingredients that, but all blend together. And I think that helps make it not so stock, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's really important not for things just to be stock. So we're not some rehash band that sounds like anything. Like we just took the formula back from 1986, so you can just throw in a year, 1999. I don't care what year you have. That's not it. It does have, it does stand out. It is unique. It sounds different than the other bands, which is a fantastic thing. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword because you don't necessarily fit in with a particular established genre. That could be from death metal, stoner metal. I mean, those are the two biggest Thrash metal would be another one. Those would be the three biggest scenes that you run into, or traditional metal. There's not too much power metal that we run into, but once again, those are very established scenes that have rules, and most of those bands are very similar. And
Right.
so, yeah, we don't fit in neatly with any of those, but we can play with any of those. We play with all those sorts of bands all the time. And so I'm getting a little bit lost, but that's
well, that makes sense.
kind of describing our sound a little bit, and how it's and how we approach things, and how we do. No one wants to be just a cookie cutter band. I mean, I don't even see the point in doing that, right?
Right.
So, there is thought. There is thought behind it. You know, I don't just want to say that you just shit out a riff and then you just throw it down on, I want to say tape, but you just record it digitally or what have you, and that's the end of it. And like, oh, that's great. No, there is more work to it. So it is a combination of life. It's a combination of going with the flow, not overthinking, but thinking. And that's the perfect recipe and the perfect temperature and formula.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a good point, because there are so many people that want to, oh, well, I'm a power metal band, so I have to write this way. My structure has to be this way. And I remember when I did get to interview Lucas, he talked about, hey, I was influenced equally by Metallica and Nirvana. So my playing has, a little of both. I don't shun one or the other. I just try to incorporate them both into what I do. And I know in your case, over the years, you've definitely brought different things to the table in the different bands that you've been a part of. So what you said makes complete sense. I mean, if you have all these different things that you can pull from and sort of these different ingredients, why just make a recipe, just one way, if you can alter it and make it your own and make it a little different? And as you said, kind of be able to bridge the gap between a lot of other bands out there, and kind of, fit the need that maybe someone who isn't 100% a death metal fan or a thrash fan, there are a lot of people that like a lot of different things. So it makes sense to, not just focus on one thing.
Well, it is. And the other thing is to be aware of kind of the cliches of all the established genres and avoid those.
Right.
Like, you might be following it, you might be doing something that is a cliche, like, oh, wait, this is, we need to break this up. We need to change this a little bit and twist it around, because this is getting too bland right here. So being aware of the parameters around you, but and then fusing them together. The other really important thing I want to bring up is that we're not scared to have melody and have hooks, and we're not obsessed with heaviness. You know, this album did come out heavier than than Stranded, which I think was actually kind of more of I want to say like an alternative metal album. And I think there was kind of a push for exploring that sound. To me, that's our In Utero. Yeah. Which was different than Nevermind, which had a much more cleaned, a very polished sound from its production and whatnot, right? Because I believe Andy Wallace had something to do with it, who also did like Slayer and like a lot of like
that makes sense,
metal bands and things like that. And then In Utero comes out and it's kind of dirtier, it's kind of garagier, and people are like, what is this? Like, did you guys just record this on a 4-track? You know? And like this. So that being said, but not being the trend nowadays, I think everyone is a little bit trying to project this overly aggro death metal, thrash metal, which is great and cool. Lucas can sing, and we love like big choruses, and we like singing along to the words. And so we're absolutely not afraid to embrace going there, which would be a more traditional commercial rock approach, and putting that in the music as well. I think if anything, I think there's too much underground in the mainstream rock, if that makes any sense. I love it all, but when your mainstream when your genre is represented by what is actually the 1%, the extreme metal sound, and that's being portrayed as the 99%, I don't think that's healthy or accurate.
Right.
And I think a lot of more normal people, I mean, let's be honest, I think we forget that a lot of people, like Motley Crue is heavy,
Right.
heavy. Like, and maybe even people think Shout of the Devil, like, oh, that's kind of too edgy for me, man. Like, I don't even know. I feel guilty listening to that. And we just like, oh, we gotta laugh about that. Like, that's cheesy rock shit, man. But it's not, man. So like, we're so used to extreme pulverizing death thrash that I think the whole entire scene has lost a little bit of a grip on reality. And that's fine. Like I said, if you to represent the extreme of the extreme, and Morbid Angel came out, I mean, I believe that's what they were pushing. Like, they were the extreme of the extreme.
Right.
That's what that is. That's like the top. That's the 1%ers, man. So we take pride in embracing melody and choruses, and not trying to we don't strive for heavy. I mean, the heavy comes out.
Right.
And if anything, maybe we do strive for more melody, because if anything, I think that's what's missing. And it's tough because it seems to go one way or the other. It's either pure heavy or pure cheese, right? The ingredients and the formula has been completely out of whack. It's one or the other. So many fantastic songs are just they have a good amount of energy and riffs. And then they have just like, people are singing along. And then if you cast away kind of the perceptions of the scenes they're involved in, and people just listen to them musically, like, you'll get all like everyone loves it. You know what I mean? And everyone's this is awesome.
Right.
So that's another thing I think is really important to state that we embrace, and is fucking hooks.
Right. And it's funny because I was reading a review lately of someone that I'd recently interviewed, and they were like, oh, well, they're obviously a power metal band because they've got all these anthemic choruses. I'm like, when did that only become a power metal thing? There for the longest time, melody was involved in all types of music. It's just, it's exactly what you said. When a lot of like extreme metal came around, a lot of that stuff was shunned, and it was pushed to the to the back, because for a lot of people, they thought it wasn't cool. But
that's the perception. That's kind of the scene politics getting involved.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to go there because you don't want to be considered cheesy.
Yeah. You have to look over your shoulder before giving your opinion, just in case you don't look cool. I mean, I don't get that.
That's what heavy metal ever has been.
Yeah.
The old anthem in heavy metal and rock and roll is to be yourself, be proud of yourself. And
absolutely.
And the other thing that when you were talking biker bars, and that reminded me, that has crafted our sound and that we're also really proud of, is that we don't write what we're not capable of playing.
Right.
When what you hear on the album, we'll be able to perform live. And that's part of the touring process as well. It's like, you want to be able to pull the stuff off live, and that goes into our writing attitude. So I'm not going to write a 7-guitar piece, right? Because we have 2 guitars. Well, we might do a 2-guitar piece that and then in the studio you might have like rhythm guitar power chords underneath, but live you don't need that. But once again, that's the realistic approach, that we do though. So it's really important to us, and that is what a part of our craft as well is writing what we would actually do in a rehearsal spot or on a stage.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, you've got so many bands that go in there and work all their studio magic, and then you see them live, and it's like, wait, where's where's part that really drew me into this song? It's completely missing.
Sounds naked, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, if you're gonna rely on keyboards, you better have a keyboard player on stage.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's like having a musician, but the same thing can be done with parts. I mean, you better be able to pull off that riff better sound as cool live, or better. Right. You should always sound better live, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Makes complete sense. We have one of my diehards here, Jeremy, who's in the UK, who asks, will you be able to get this new album in the UK? I just listened to all your songs and they're really good.
Hey, thanks, Jeremy. Definitely. So once again, our label is Ripple Music, and just go through Ripple Music and they'll have an international delivery option. And I understand that shipping internationally is very expensive. And I believe that Ripple does have international distribution. So they better find a way to get it over there. That's out of my hands. What we can do is if you order it through us, it's going to cost, an extra $15 to $20 to get it overseas, and that's just how it goes.
Right.
So you can do it old school way through us. Great question though. And actually, I'll have to ask Todd that myself because I assume that they have some sort of international distribution.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Or if not, maybe some store that they're going to be pointing everyone towards to purchase it over here in Europe and in the UK.
Well, once again, you can buy it worldwide, whether or not you have to pay international shipping.
Yeah.
Well, if it's being mailed from LA or San Francisco, I have a feeling that answer is yes, and it's not going to be a price that you like.
Yeah.
But that's reality, right? That makes it cool and rare. I hope that he is able to get some stuff out there so people in Europe or France or etc. don't have to pay more than the album or the CD to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big, downer. $15 isn't too bad, but when they're asking like $50 to ship something over here and the album costs $25, it's like, well,
it shouldn't be that bad. We do international orders, and I feel like off the top of my head, like $15 for a CD, and it might be $20 to get an album. Sorry.
Okay.
So then you're looking at like $40, and then things are a little expensive right now. Hopefully, we get some real European distribution.
Cool. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, you also do lessons. Do you still do online lessons?
Yeah, I do those. Yeah, sure do.
If people are looking to work with you and learn from you, what
reach out to
them and where they reach out? Yeah.
Facebook.
Okay.
Just hit me up on Facebook. Although that being said, if we're not friends, it might get sent to the spam folder, wouldn't it? I guess it's my personal email. Do you have show notes? You could put it in there.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
I'm not afraid.
Okay.
I am a little bit. Email. We'll do an email because that's a good point because there's problems with things getting sent to the spam folder.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that happens to me as well.
There shouldn't be any problem with going to the Void Vator Facebook page. Am I being too cryptic here? Like, email me, Facebook me, or definitely the Void Vator email. There shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no problem.
I'm on all the regular platforms except actually no, I'm not. I'm not on Twitter. I'm just on Facebook, email, and Instagram. Those are three ways to get a hold of me.
Okay. And as far as a few weeks ago, we had Monty Pittman on, who also used to teach at Guitar Center.
He did it his own way. He started before there was Guitar Center Studio.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. OG style. I think he was working the floor and he'd meet people and they'd be like, oh, I have my son, my daughter needs guitar lessons. He'd be like, well, I teach lessons. But yeah, he's Guitar Center alumni, and I haven't seen him for a while. But we used to do shows together when I was in a band that was on the same label as him.
Oh, okay, cool. I've had him on a few times. He's always been really cool to talk to. I didn't realize that. I mean, he's brought up. I mean, years ago, he talked about how he met his boss from his day job, Madonna. And he kind of exactly what you said is kind of like how he explained the whole deal initially was that she was
my wife needs guitar lessons.
Yeah, he was. They were buying a guitar and said, "Hey, I teach lessons," and he got in. So,
great story. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very unique. That's kind of a Disney story in itself, right?
Yeah.
Dreams do happen.
Yeah. And for someone like that, I mean, not for nothing, I brought this up when I interviewed him. He's been working with her for 20 years. I mean, you look at
Nice, yeah.
someone, you know, like an Ozzy or even back in the day, a Bowie or someone like that. These people were revolving musicians left and right. And I mean, that has to say something about, you know, how professional he is and what a good guy he is to maintain that job, you know, that
Sure.
position for all that long.
Yeah, good point. Well, I mean, you should tell everybody who his client and turning out to be his official boss is. That's no secret, right?
Yeah, no. We talked quite a bit about Madonna the other day. So
Madonna. I mean,
yeah,
it's one of the things I love about Los Angeles, and is an example of a real life Disney dream that came true.
right.
And those type of things do happen. I mean, I've had the good fortune of being in 3 signed bands now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
I moved out here for one, and then I found another. And I've had a lot in between.
Right.
And now I'm in Void Vator.
Yeah.
And running into guys like Sam and Lucas,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, top-notch, world-class musicians. But once again, it's beyond just the technical ability. It's about people that live it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different than what you read about. Like, there is partying and heck, I mean, that can get really, that's a whole nother topic, but it's not a lot of the cliches. It's about prioritizing music to
Right.
where you're constantly pursuing it and overcoming obstacles and not giving up. That's a little bit of a cliche, but truly not giving up and surpassing whatever obstacle you're looking at and moving forward. But to do that really is a requirement above and beyond. It's ridiculous. I always say I could have had 5 PhDs by now for the time, money, and energy I put into just staying on this path.
Right.
And finding other people to do it as well is very rare. And that's one of the beautiful things about this geographical location.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely as you said, I mean, things can happen like the situation with Monty, but you know, it's few and far between.
He's always grinding. Like, he's always been grinding, and he continues to grind too. That's what I want to get at. Like finding, I guess that's like a very storybook sort of thing, but that's not his only gig. I mean, like I said, he continues to grind and do his own things, and we all do. And that's what's unique about this place. So everyone has to grind.
Right.
The grind never ends. That's the fallacy, is that you get in this lavish palace of dreams where everything is, you're floating on clouds and sleeping in vapor air. But like, the grind never stops. That's the bullshit. So no matter where you're at, you're constantly grinding. And to find people willing to do that, because it's because you have to set your life up to do that. Yeah, and that doesn't mean like you have to just like throw everything else away. No, because we have to live domestic lives. You have to balance it though, and it would be, I feel like, much easy just to not have to, right? Yeah, the balance, the grind can become overwhelming, and so to find other people that's just part of the gig, man. That's the part that no one tells you about. And it's not like, oh, you got to practice hard, you got to work hard just practicing, and then you might have to drive 12 hours at night and some of the things. It's like, no, just like existing day to day might be kind of a ridiculous pain in the ass, because you're sort of balancing 2 lives.
Yeah, I hear you. And you
got to keep doing that year after year and day after day, and it never ends.
Well, I mean, I think one of, maybe not the last interview that we did, you mentioned how most people out there are, until they find, you know, one band to be a part of, they're usually in multiple bands until they find where they fit in the best. Monty again mentioned a few weeks back that he's producing a bunch of things behind the scenes. He's working on, other people's albums and doing solos and consulting on songs. And on top of that, he's still doing lessons. So
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You would think that he would have it just made and never have to worry about any of that. And that's not the case. I don't think it ever ends, and
Right.
you have to continue to work to be relevant
Mhm.
artistically, and you have to continue to just grind and keep tending the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I always ask when you come on because you've always had reunions over the years with other bands that you've been in, Overloaded mainly.
Yeah.
I know that kind of, you guys put that baby to bed a few years back.
Yes and no. That's the band. I reached out to them during this shutdown because flights were so cheap. I was like, "What are you guys doing? Let's go do a show." Because I know a club owner in Detroit, and I was like, "Dude, John will get us a gig at the Token Lounge.
Right.
Let's go do a show, man."
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't in the cards, man. I mean, those guys, they've been out of the loop for a while, and they're just kind of, dude, I haven't picked up. I'm kind of rusty. I can't just pick up and do it. I'm like, I get it. All right, it's just an idea because flights are really cheap right now, and I just had some downtime. That could probably won't happen. Probably won't ever happen. I've done that one a few times,
Yeah.
But what else were you thinking?
Now, out of everyone, I'm assuming that Chris is probably the only one that's still remotely involved in anything.
Not really, man. He's just super busy. He's just
Is
super
he? Okay,
busy.
so he's no longer singing anymore, like he was in the past.
He did a solo album that was awesome. It took him
okay.
he was working on it forever, but you may remember that he was singing for Tokyo Blade with Andy Bolton, and Lorenzo was part of that as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, and Michael Massey, I think, stepped in for a little bit. So anyway, but Chris continued to do some tours with like whatever version. We had a lot of lineups at Tokyo Blade, but Andy Bolton was always a part of it.
Right.
And Chris did his own solo album that he worked on with Andy. And it's called Gillen and the Villains, and it's great.
Oh, wow.
He released it a couple years ago, but I don't think there was any sort of push. So, look for Gillen and the Villains, and it's called Legend Has It. But since then, I'm not aware of too much, man. He's just yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So the most pressing thing is the new Void Vator album.
I know we kind of got off a tangent. I'm doing the worst job at promoting the record. I'm supposed to be plugging this thing. Okay, once again, new Void Vator album, Great Fear Rising. And there's some photos of it. We've got 2 songs out. First song is I Can't Take It. We released a video for that back in mid-December, early December. And we just released our second single for the record, I Want More. And we're a month away from it being physically released worldwide. And shit, what else? Pre-orders are out now. Get it? Because I think the beautiful blood red splatter collector's vinyl edition may already be sold out. I saw some photos of it. Check it out on our Facebook page, Instagram. It looks beautiful. Out on Ripple Music. We are going to be doing a CD release show here in not LA, actually it's Orange County, Santa Ana, May 1st. I say fly out for it.
There you go.
Fly out and see it. May 1st. It's at Stages, used to be called Malone's in Santa Ana on May 1st with my buddies Tanner and Madrost. The mirror image always messes me up looking at the screen. With Madrost, they're on the bill as well. Once again, May 1st, we're going to be doing a CD release party there. Kind of just turned out that way. We did a couple shows in Arizona because it's I mean, I don't even know how this California show happened, but this whole place is locked down. In Arizona, it's a lot more free, and so we got Adrian from Ex Mortis to play drums for us.
Oh, okay.
And we did 2 weekends out in the Phoenix, Tucson area Phoenix, Tucson area. And that was in late November, and then we did it again in late January. And what was cool about those shows, people flew out because things are shut down, and they were really craving live music, and flights are really cheap now, so they flew out to check us out, and I thought that was awesome, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So do it. Yeah. Just fly out from wherever you're at. I mean, I think a round trip to Detroit right now is like $100. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
So, and then we just talked to our booking agent about some tour ideas, and we want to get out there, man. And we're looking at summer. So,
okay.
At this point, it's just like a rough, vague idea. But we're gonna get out this summer, and it's probably gonna be like Southwest, meaning Arizona, Texas, Colorado, Oklahoma. I'd like to get out to Tampa if possible, but staying with, and then maybe ending in like Reno, Nevada or something like that. Staying within that, it was most likely kind of the targeted regions.
Gotcha.
All right, but I feel like I went off on another tangent. New album's coming out.
That's perfectly fine. Well, who do you have? Who do you think is going to be behind the drums for that tour? It's still going to be.
And let's talk about that. Yes.
Okay.
So Herman, our drummer, Herman Mora, and his wife Jenny, they did have to move to London, and they've been trying for years to become legal residents of the United States, and it's a very difficult process.
Yeah.
So they had to move to London.
Okay.
Is where they both now reside. And so we had met Joey Dibiase on tour with a band called Final Drive. Is during some of the first tours that Void Vator had started doing. Great drummer. And actually Herman had told us, like, guys, this guy's good. And we had started, it was looking more and more that the way things were going to have to go, and that Herman was going to have to leave. And he even reached out to him and said, Joey, man, you should really consider either helping out or drumming for Void Vator, et cetera, et cetera. And so yeah, we reached out to him, and Joey lives in Connecticut.
Okay.
And he does a lot of work, a lot of long distance work. He's even younger than Sam, I believe. He's a pretty young dude, 23 maybe.
Okay.
Okay, anywho, but my point is, like, that's kind of like how he rolls. Like, he drums with a lot of bands. And so we had a tour coming up, and we started working with him long distance, where we'd work here in LA on the music, and we'd program the drums. I'd program them here, and then we'd be sending him, keeping him aware of them, and then we give him what we're thinking, and then give him a version with just a click track, and then he'd write his parts and go back and forth. The first time I've ever done that process, as far as like working with a drummer, and it turned out great. Man, he's a pro. Like, the reason I brought up his age is I don't think that seems weird to him. That's weird to me. Having a drummer living on the other side of the country is very strange.
Right.
But so we had a tour booked. It was actually the Spring Breakneck tour last year, and so we came out, we flew him out, we got to rehearse. We've been working on these songs, right? And so, and we recorded his drums. We recorded his drums 2 days before we left for tour. So it was like us. We've been working back and forth. And this is a great drummer, man. I mean, he's another just like absurdly gifted guy. I hope I didn't underplay anybody's skills in this band. I think everyone's skills are like actually perfect level. Like, they're professional, but they're not stupid over the top where you have some strange ego or some weird attitude. Like, everyone is like a fantastic, like, realistic, hardworking person, as well as a fantastic musician who has chops, like the perfect blend of chops and soul and creativity. That's another thing, because some of these like hired gun guys have zero. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they can copycat whatever they want, but like, that's not even something they bother with. They're just like, I just play, and this band this week, this band that week. That's the creative processes can be time consuming, and take a lot of energy, so some people don't bother with that. So everyone, okay, I better not lose track, but he's another one of us. He just fits like absolutely perfect, and we saw that from touring with Final Drive. So not just seeing him play musically, but hanging out with him, it's just a cool, fun guy, great sense of humor, loves fucking music, and goes, we listen to music 24/7 in the van. Some bands actually don't. Like we crank fucking music, and if you're in a van, you probably suffer hearing loss, not from the concerts, but from the fucking van rides. And that's how we roll, man. And it doesn't stop ever.
Yeah.
So that's how we worked it. So Joey be working on the songs, be going back and forth. I mean, everything he comes up with is great, So we have actually good, and we worked hard on. And Lucas can play drums pretty well. I can't physically play drums, but I've been demoing things and programming drums for a long time. So we gave him something. I'd say something that was 75%. He just took it to A+. And then so we'd fly him out. So it was for rehearsal for the tour, and then to record the records and polish up the songs. Now we're playing them live. And yeah, he knocked out recorded his drums in 2 days at a Screaming Leopard Studios. I swear I have a sticker. Yeah, there it is. Screaming Leopard Studios in Huntington Beach or Long Beach or in Orange County. Wait, Long Beach isn't Orange County. Anywho, we did it in 2 days really fast. And that's how we did the drums. And Joey, side note, trivia note, Joey Dibiase, his father is Joey Dibiase of Fate's Warning and played bass in the legendary band Fate's Warning. I mean, that's like awesome. That's just like cool. And that's unique, but what a great head start on music, If you got music in you, you can't ask for much more than having a dad who is. We get to hang out. Like we went to Connecticut, and we'd stay at their house, And what I love about the East Coast is you can stay in Connecticut and do just a bunch of freaking shows, and just you come back that night, right? You do 4 shows with one little home satellite base. But this is just cool, man. Once again, like, comes from a musical family, and that is beyond just the music. It's the attitude, it's the real life stories. So the dude's just born with like legacy DNA genes,
Gotcha. Yeah.
So we really lucked out, and so that's what's me playing drums. God, did that take a long time to answer?
No, but that's cool. I mean, people at least know. I mean, his pedigree and why he's been able to fit in. I mean, it just seems like he's someone that's grown up knowing what needs to what you need to do to fit in and work with the band. So that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It does make things a little bit complicated when we do these shows that are like one-offs, I call them, or even just weekends. It doesn't make a lot of sense to fly someone out from Connecticut. Right.
Right.
And fortunately, one of Sam's best friends is Adrian from Ex Mortis, who's a fantastic drummer, and he basically does us a favor and fills in for drums and makes it happen. I mean, he enjoys performing, as well. Does a fantastic job. So that's how we're balancing things right now. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Wrapping things up here. Name of the album again, you said?
Great Fear Rising.
Drops April 23rd. Ripple Records.
Ripple Music,
my bad.
Yeah.
And you can check out the first single in video already. First two. Okay. On streaming platforms and on YouTube.
That's right. Yeah. All your streaming platforms and on YouTube. Check them out. It's a sneak peek of what is to come in 1 month.
Awesome. I want to thank you for coming on the show. It is always fun to talk to you. And it's the first time that we've kind of done it face to face here.
Yeah. So always been over a cell phone with a broken connection.
Yeah. There you go. Without, hey, can you hear me? So it's awesome to actually be able to see you for the first time here and chat away. So awesome. We will do our part to try to promote the album when it comes out. Definitely, I have a great group of guys up on Patreon that are diehard followers. of what I do, and they're great at, I throw up a lot of different music at them, and they're great at promoting stuff themselves. Jeremy in the UK is one of them, so I'm sure that my patrons will be will soon be up to speed with what you guys have going on. So
I hope so. I really appreciate the opportunity, Victor. Great to see you again. Great to talk to you again.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot, Erik. We'll be in touch.
Later.
Awesome. There you go, guys. That is Erik Kluiber from Void Vator. Again, the guy that's been on the show more than anyone else. And I want to thank him for hopping on once again. I want to thank everyone who's watching this live or listening to the replay, the podcast format. Remember, this Friday we have another show at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And the last week, 5 p.m. in the UK and 11 p.m. Or not 5 p.m. What am I saying? 10 p.m. in the UK, 11 p.m. in Europe. And we set clocks forward this weekend, so we'll be back to the same old. We will have author and musician Joel Gostin with us on Friday. So that is it. Thanks for checking the show out, and as usual, we will see you next time right here on the Signals from Mars live stream, brought to you by the Mars Attacks podcast.